Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today at RAG Podcast. Joined for the second time, got a very special guest, Mr. Geoffrey Giuliano. And where are you calling out of tonight?
I'm in Bangkok, Thailand.
Thank you so much for joining us today. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing really well. It's great to be able to talk with you tonight.
And how long have you been living in Thailand for?
20 years, more or less.
Wow. Actually, after my mom passed away in 2008, I had a bit of a mental breakdown, and I actually went to Thailand for like 2 months just so I could clear my mind and get rejuvenated spiritually. But we always start off with a friendly fire round. And so we're just going to ask you a few questions. If you were going to get reincarnated again, I'm not sure if you believe in reincarnation, but you could either—
I do.
Okay, you could either be a zombie, a vampire, or an alien. Who would you want to come back as?
Okay, well, I can see you're going for the deep philosophical approach on this show, okay? Well, oh man, I don't know. That's a silly question. I decline to answer on the grounds that it may tend to incriminate me. Come up with another one.
Okay, here we go. All right, so this is an interesting because you had mentioned you have a love for animals. So if you had to own any giant feline animal, what would that be?
A cow. Because as a Gaudiya Vaishnava, I'll explain what that is. Mm-hmm. Some might call it Hinduism. We love cows. Krishna was the protector of the cows, and they're beautiful, gentle creatures. I had 2 cows when I had my ashram in Lockport, New York, and we love them very much. So a cow. But not a cow in the West where I would end up as a hamburger, but a cow in India where I'd be loved and protected.
Gray?
I'm going to go for something really simple here. What is your favorite ice cream flavor?
I love ice cream. It's definitely one of my guilty pleasures. I'm going to say maybe chocolate chip mint.
All right.
But, you know, that is also a stupid question, but it's one that I can relate to because I'm.
Do you guys have Ben and Jerry's or no?
I don't know what you mean by you guys. You mean in Thailand? They have everything.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
they got everything here.
Okay,
good.
Here we go. If you had to spend the remaining years of your life stuck in any decade, which decade would it be?
Probably around either 1890s or 1960s. I think.
That's a very good.
Although I did live through the 60s. I was born in 1953.
All right.
So that means in 63, I was 10 years old. So I kind of came of age in the 60s. So I remember it very well.
Great. Last question.
Favorite, I assume you did mention on the last podcast, you're vegetarian, is that right?
I am indeed.
Okay, for a meat eater, what's your best meal then? If you're going to sell vegetarianism, go.
What you mean as a vegetarian?
Sure.
Okay, well, I would say my best, you know what, as a child, I can remember having Campbell's tomato soup and a toasted cheese sandwich. And I still love that. I love coleslaw. You can't get coleslaw anymore unless you go to KFC. Which I don't do. It's pretty good. So I like that. And I love mashed potatoes.
That's my favorite.
But above and beyond any cuisine, I like Mexican food. So anything vegetarian Mexican is good. I love Taco Bell, but not the Taco Bell they have in Asia. The Taco Bell it's not the same.
I know. I'm Mexican, so if I could have authentic Taco Bell in South Korea, I would be so content. I would be totally satisfied.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I have to settle for Asian Taco Bell, and just totally not.
When I was in college, my girlfriend, later my wife, Brenda, took me to my first Taco Bell, and I said, well, I don't know about this. She said, just trust me. And you would get, I think it was 25 cents was a bean burrito. And we were students. We didn't have any money. So it's like, wow, you can eat like, I want 3 bean burritos and mild sauce. And you take a bite and you put a little on and take a bite. So you hit a nerve there. We love real Taco Bell. I mean, it's garbage, but there's just something in the American soul
Right.
about that's satisfied by Taco Bell.
I will tell you this. Well, whenever you come to Korea again, I will definitely make you some Mexican food, some authentic Mexican food.
All right.
Actually,
all right.
just had some today. But that being said, if you would be so kind as to give us a 2-minute synopsis of summary of your spiritual journey, and then we're going to get in and ask you some kind of deconstruct it.
Sure. Well, I'm a follower of what's called Gaudiya Vaishnavism, and which is a part of what the larger umbrella name for that would be Sanatan Dharma. Now, it's the popularized linguistic word that they throw around is Hindu. But I'm not a Hindu and nobody's a Hindu. Well, why not? Because Hindu was a name given by the British colonial overlords when they came to India to a religion that they knew nothing about. So it's a cultural imposition on followers of my faith, and we reject it. Now, where did they get the name Hindu? Well, there's a river called Indu. So they knew that Indus River, and they somehow it got morphed into Hindu. So it's a completely bogus name. But for the sake of brevity, and so that people can understand, yeah, okay, you could say Hindu, but no, not really. We're Gaudiya Vaishnava. All right, so let me just finish. So there's that. Now, what does it entail? Well, the basic tenet is that we are not this body. We are a soul that it rides in this body and experiences reality, so-called, just as very much like someone sits in a car. It's as if someone has been in the car for so long that they've forgotten that they're in that car and they think they are that car. So and I am convinced that we are much more than our material body, and that we sit in this body as a means of movement through the world, and to experience through our mind and senses reality, which, and for what purpose? To take us slowly through our experiences and realizations back to the original source. So it's not evolution, it's involution, going back into that great fire from which we came. I can put it to you like this, that God is a great fire and we are a spark. God is a gold mine. We're a small gold earring. So we're qualitatively one with the divine,
right?
But not quantitatively. So we have all the aspects of the Supreme Being, but we're just smaller, small little gods, sparks from the fire, drops of the ocean.
That's interesting. Okay. And just really quick, at what age did you join this faith?
15 years old.
15. Okay.
Now, the faith that I joined, you will know as the Hare Krishna movement, or ISKCON, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. I'm what's called I'm a lay member. I'm not a cleric, although I have come close to that in my long life. But I joined in 1971, give or take, and have been very much involved ever since. And it's just a beautiful thing, and it's really illumined my life. And hopefully at the end of my life, I will be in a meditative state and be then therefore qualified to go what we call back to home, back to Godhead.
All right. So I'm going to ask you a question right off the bat, and then we'll let Gray get in there. And actually, Gray's from the UK, so I believe Gray's ancestors are the one who made that confusion there. But yeah, imperialism is wrong no matter where it's at. It's caused a lot of problems, and America is certainly not free from that charge in and of itself. But that being said, I do want to ask a clarifying issue, something clarifying. Is it not the case, or is it the case that I've heard that God, well, do you call that Brahma?
No, our name is Krishna, although he has innumerable names and his incarnations are as multitudinous as waves upon the ocean.
Yeah. Okay. So from what I've understood, and correct me if I'm wrong, that being, which you call like the great fire, is basically everything. So God is both good and bad. He's both light and darkness. He's both, he's both big and small. He's just, everything is just little smaller pieces of him. Would that be an accurate?
Yes, that is accurate. Nothing can exist. How can anything exist without God? If he's the original progenitor, if everything emanates from him, then everything, your headphones, everything, the lemonade in my desk, us, Benjamin Franklin, everything has emanated from the Godhead.
Okay. So we're going to let Gray get in here, and Gray is actually an atheist, so he's a hardcore materialist. So this is going to be very interesting. I'm going to drink some coffee and put on the boxing gloves, man. Let's get at this, Adam.
First up, you say that life is quite away from enlightenment. Why do you think we go through life which is not a form of enlightenment, and what's its purpose?
Human life is a rare gift. There are 8,400,000 species of life. There's animals, insects, aquatics, human species, and so forth. And only in this human form of life do we have the opportunity for self-knowledge. A little koala bear is not thinking about where do I come from, where am I going, what is my purpose in life. So no one can disagree with that. That the human form of life is a rare and wonderful thing. And for those that are conscious in their life and look beyond the materialism that obviously surrounds us as we are in a material body, it's a rare opportunity. So predicated on our past, as we are eternal beings, weren't created last week or in September of 1953. My body was, but not me. As we are eternal beings in these material bodies, experiencing life, that inclination towards self-discovery is inherent in everything we do. Now, it's not necessarily conscious in everybody, but everybody, regardless of their thinking, walks this path of from evolution to involution, to come out, evolution coming out of, involution going back to. So the human life is then used as a mechanism for understanding that which is our true nature and our relationship as spiritual beings. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, well, I just want to talk about God a little bit, actually, because
Sure.
you mentioned God or Krishna. Is there sort of an awareness with your God or not, or is it just purely sort of a background material that keeps going through this cyclical cycle?
Okay, well, we see God as the original person, not as a force devoid of qualities. No, Krishna or God is the wellspring of all qualities. Anything that we experience, he experiences. And we experience this because he sort of built that into what we are here temporarily in this material world. Nobody can argue that this is nothing but a temporary situation. Now, some people think that it begins at birth and ends at death. We do not think so. But in terms of the qualities of Krishna or God, he does what we do. We feel he goes for a walk, he eats, he has friends, he has relationships. But this is a very, very high realization. Just like everybody has a father, and you look up to your father, you have a relationship with your father. So this is people are trying to sell this God as an impersonal energy. Well, you can't really have a loving relationship with a personal energy. You love your girlfriend or your mother or your brother or your friend. So it's the same with Krishna. The reason we can do these things, the reason we can forge these relationships, the reason we can understand and reach out for them and put our arms around them is because Krishna can too. So he's given us we're, as I say, he is the gold mine, we're the small earring. So the qualities are exactly the same. Our activities, our goals, our dreams, God also has these. And this is a little bit unique in the realm of people on the spiritual path, that we consider Krishna the original person, the supreme personality of Godhead. And his qualities are unlimited, absolute, beyond our comprehension with this material vessel, mind and intelligence that we inhabit. But we understand that we can be nothing more than God and or nothing less, because that earring is absolutely the same in quality as the gold mine. There's no difference. It's just a question of one is a smaller vessel and one is unlimited.
That reminds me of the Hindu who you have a priest. Do you have a priest?
Yeah, we have priests.
Is there a special name for a priest, like a rabbi or something, a pastor or something?
No,
Just a priest.
I'll tell you, it would be a brahmachari, which means a person who's a lifelong celibate. I started out like that. I'm now a householder, a grihasta, but my wife passed away, so I'm a varnaprast.
Oh, wow.
And no, it's okay. And she's fine.
Right.
Let's see. And then, a really highly placed priest in our faith would be a swami. Swami means one who has controlled his senses. So that would be, let me just finish. Excuse me. That would be a person that has given up all attachment to the material world, in theory. Okay. We're humans and we fail, but this would be a person that has no interest in material acquisition, name, fame, any position, and they simply rely on their relationship with the Supreme Lord through meditation and works. Okay,
so speaking of what you just said about your wife, that would be I would think that would be very comforting. It's something that could help you to get through life, kind of like the troubles that you have. Maybe it could be like some kind of coping mechanism. Do you find that people...
No, it's not like that. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. I will tell you that beyond that, I'm not looking for comfort. I'm not a child. I'm not psychologically weak. It's a fact. I'll tell you that, much to my surprise, my wife absolutely unequivocally contacted my daughter, India, and this is the first time I've ever spoken about this, absolutely contacted my daughter, India. This leaves no room for doubt. This leaves, and you can trust me when I tell you that this happened, that my wife appeared in many photographs to my daughter, India, wearing the clothes that she wore when she passed away. And they're there. It's clearly her in these photographs. Until I saw the photographs and my daughter told me that mom is contacting me, and I just thought, wow, this poor girl, she's something. What can I do with her? There's some problem there. But then I saw the photographs, and there's no question the photographs are real. And what did she say? Well, eventually she came and left a message, and this was the message she left. It was very difficult for me to be able to contact you today, almost like she had to take permission or something. That was the implication, but I don't know about that. It was difficult for me to contact you today, but I'm able to do it, but I cannot stay very long. I just can say only that everything in our faith of Krishna consciousness is real, and I'm experiencing it. I am well. You will all be fine. And that was basically it. Now, nobody asked for this. It was, she just wanted to give this message, and, it's backed up by the photographs, which I promised not to show anybody. Okay. In the future, that'll probably happen because I think they should be seen. But we did have that experience with my wife, and it was confirmation to what we already knew. It wasn't even really necessary. It was nice. That did help immensely, knowing that she's somewhere not in that form, not in that body, not that woman that I married, but somewhere existing. So, look, the good news is that we don't die. We just change bodies. Now, when I finish this show, I'm going to take this vest off and I'm going to hang it up. I'll take off this shirt and I'll put it in the laundry. Nobody's died there. We've just changed clothes. As we change bodies at the end of this incarnation, it's quite short-sighted to think that we go through all this for just one unrequited lifetime. Gandhi said, if we just live once, this trouble is not worth it. And Voltaire said, is it any more of a wonder to think that a man is born twice than once? So, it's a miracle that we've been born, that we're in this kind of body and a skeletal frame, and there's a brain, and there's an intelligence, there's a mind over that, and intelligence which pervades it, and we can experience finer sentiments of love and self-sacrifice or greed and anger, evil, that we can experience anything. The incredible band, a nice band that I like, wrote earth, water, fire, and air, put together in the garden fair, put in a basket, bound with skin. If you can answer this riddle, you'll never begin. So I'm convinced. It's nothing about this man. He's intelligent, but he's obviously has some skewed thinking. He believes some bizarre. No, I know through experience that I'm not this body. In fact, we even linguistically, we say my body. We don't say I body. We say this is my body. But it's on loan to us from material nature, and eventually the lease will expire, and we'll have to go. So that's why, Jesus even said, "Don't store up not your treasures in this world, where rust doth corrode and thieves break in to steal." So it's not really. We live a life. We have a foot in two worlds as devotees of Krishna. We have a foot in the material world to enact our duty or dharma, and we have a foot in the other world where we are beyond any bodily designation.
I see. So, okay, so I want to break this up by getting into some of the actual applications.
Practice. Yeah, good.
So, what is like a daily ritual that you might do, or do you have any yearly or holidays? I'm sure you don't celebrate
all that. Okay, so the day starts like this. I'll get up about 4 o'clock in the morning, which is called the Brahma Muhurta hour. What is that? Well, it's a time when everything's peaceful. Everybody's asleep, everything's quiet, and it's a perfect time, just a little veil of time that's very conducive to spiritual practice. So I'll get up about 4 o'clock, and then I will have my chanting beads, and first of all, take a shower and brush my teeth, make sure you're very clean. And I have a chair that I sit in over here, and I will chant on a clicker, like those clickers that people have, or beads, the Hare Krishna mantra, which is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Now, the crux of our practice is this Hare Krishna mantra. It's a 16-word mantra, and it has 3 words, Hare, Krishna, and Rama. Let me tell you what they mean. Hare calls upon the energy of Krishna, or God, the Lord. And Rama is a name of an incarnation. I think people know about Lord Rama. And Krishna is also a name of in our view, the supreme person. So what we're really saying in Hare Krishna is, would you please, dear Lord, engage us in your service so that we can, be worthy servants. Now, my name, I have a spiritual name. It's Jagannatha Das. The surname Das means servant of. Jagannath is a name for Krishna that comes from a place called Puri in India. So Jagannath Das, my name, means not that I'm Jagannath, but Jagannath is the name of God, a name, because he has innumerable names. So I am Jagannath Das, the servant of Jagannath. So my guru, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, said when someone asked him about, who are you? What is your spiritual status? He said, I'm the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna. So we don't claim any special anything. You know, humility is very important. You know, I'm an actor, so I operate out of an ego place sometimes. But look, I tell you, in my heart of hearts, my spiritual practice is most important. So let's get back to the morning ritual. I wake up, take my shower, chant my beads for about 2 hours, and we do a prescribed number of chanting rounds of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And then we'll prepare some food, some very simple food. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, if you offer me some fruit, some water, a flower, I will accept it. So we make a very simple offering to Krishna. I put it on my altar over here, and we light some incense and wave a little camphor lamp. And then that's it. We go about our business. But through the day, I try to keep that mantra going. So in my head, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. But just let me finish. And then also, I would listen to lectures with my spiritual master, or music, a lot of Indian music, not Indian music, but devotional music. And I would try to be as I'm a representative now, particularly of my spiritual master, you notice I'm being very careful in everything I say. I'm not being cavalier. I'm not being funny. I'm not being insulting. You know, the usual Geoffrey that you get, because this is a serious matter. My guru used to say, because I have actually, let me say that I have two gurus. One is Mangal Maharaj, and he used to say, Jagannatha, who you see, you should preach to. He said, whoa, that's a tall order. It means when I go to the post office, I'm supposed to preach to the lady about being a devotee of Krishna. So that's tough. That's very tough. But these really advanced souls, that's what they do. It's like, whoa, that's what they do. I don't do that. But if somebody asks me, when I said I was happy to be here, oh, I'm happy as all right, because it's an opportunity to do what I was told to do by my spiritual masters. Those whom you see, you should preach them. So here I am.
So I went to India, not India, Thailand, and I went to this play where they had these giant puppets. These puppets were like this big, and these people were in the background, and they're wearing all black. So you could see them, but you really couldn't see them, you know, because it's like a back thing. But anyway, it's called The Birth of Ganesha, and it was showing like the story. It was so utterly fascinating about how Ganesha got the elephant head, but I don't want this to sound bad, but it just seems like Hinduism is very creative religion, because you have all these like avatars, and you have the Hanuman, is that right?
Yes.
So there's a lot of different animals, and then you got the Shiva has like 4 arms or something.
Right. So look, there's a whole retinue of beings that I understand will be extremely difficult for anybody to reasonably believe that they might in fact exist. Look, I'm what's called a Kanista Adhikari, which means a beginner. I've been on this path for 50 years, but I absolutely consider myself just as if I just came into the temple today. And what's this all about? So I'm a Kanista. I don't know about all these things.
That's interesting.
I do know that my spiritual master gave me some basic instructions that have served me well for all these years. I'm 68. And they are no meat, fish, or eggs, onion, or garlic. That has made me very healthy. No illicit sex. I have fallen down from that a few times, but I'm back on the wagon with that one.
Well,
illicit
you almost did on Squid Game, so that's we won't go down.
I did, that was him, not me. I was just pretending.
I know.
But no illicit sex, no gambling, no intoxication, and keeping a strict vegetarian diet. So what I tell people is, look, let's say that Krishna doesn't exist. We live one time and we die. That's it. I'm good with that. Why? Because I've lived a great lifetime, man. I know a lot of people, you know, when I go into the doctor, they say, I can't believe you're so healthy. And they'll say, well, he never smoked. Just that one thing alone, not smoking and keeping to a vegetarian diet. Now I'm on a vegan diet, more or less. And, you know, I will have something like today I took vegetables, fresh vegetables, cut them up, boiled them, put them on a little bit of brown rice, because I don't take carbs too much, and then some soy sauce on there and a little tiny bit of artificial sweetener, and mix it all together. So I eat very simply. The idea, as my gurus have said to me, is live simply, but think high. Think high, aim for the stars, but your own, and India, I live with these monks. I live with them. I go in the ashram, I go live with them, and they're simple, beautiful people who are not after the next iPhone. Look, I don't have to go through a litany of what's wrong with society and the values that people have. We know what those values are. And Jesus said, judge the tree by the fruit. We know what the fruit of this gross materialistic life. I want this designer thing. I want that. I have to have this. That's just a rat race that leads to ignorance and death. So we try to live simply, but think in a more high philosophical way.
Can we talk a little bit about consciousness? Because what you said in the last podcast struck me actually in terms of how long we're around and our perception of how long we're around. We perceive it to be quite a while, and in real terms, in universal terms, it's the same as an ant's life or a fly's life. The fly might feel or believe that it's around for a lifetime, but it's not really.
It's relative. Let me say, time is relative. So that the fly might live 6 months, but he's not experiencing it as 6 months. We're more highly evolved, and we can understand, it's just 6 months. But that fly will go through that entire life cycle in that 6 month period, and will not perceive it as, oh, geez, I only live for 6 months. So we're I'm sure in the same boat, that our perception is 60 years. I hope it's not 68 years, but 80 years or something, and then we change bodies. But yeah, that's a perception. And the consciousness, the consciousness, actually, we're told in the Vedic scriptures that we, us, the soul, you, are 1/10,000th the size of the tip of a hair. So if you could take a piece of hair and split it 10,000 times, that's how small we are. And we sit in the heart chakra. And Krishna says, I, dwelling in the heart, direct the wanderings of every living entity. So we think that this is quite unlike Christianity. We feel that there are two beings in this material body and in every material body, and that would be aquatics, insects, all bodies. There are two inhabitants, two residents of this body. In my case, we'll talk about me. As they say, two birds on the limb of a tree. One is the Atma, which is the individual soul. That's this guy. And one is the Jivatma. Paramatma, excuse me. Paramatma is there. Paramatma is God. So Krishna, or God, we call Krishna, but you can say God. God is actually in our heart. You've heard that before, but we think literally he's there in the tiny, tiny heart cave, and then sitting next to, and he's what we call the eternal witness. He says, I, dwelling in the heart, direct the wanderings of every living entity. It's not by force, you must do this, you must think this, but he's there almost as a silent witness to see. And in a way, kind of be there for a moment-to-moment contact of keeping us into the right path. So yeah, in our body, we think there's two souls, the super soul and then the individual soul. So therefore we, there's nothing, we can't get away from God. We can't I hope he didn't see that, because he's right there. When my wife first met my spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, she got scared. She came and said, oh, Geoffrey, I said, what's the matter? You got to see Prabhupada. That's a great thing. No, I'm so scared. Why? Because when he looked at me, I knew that he saw everything about me. Absolutely. Now, I can't tell you, I saw Prabhupada the same day and I didn't have that experience, but I cannot tell you the number of devotees and friends I know that said, when I saw Prabhupada, he looked in my eyes and he knew everything about me. I mean, not from only this life, but from all lives. So that, I think, is the ability of those who are self-realized, have a vision which is so far beyond this material vision. They can see and understand everything that's occurred since time immemorial. I know it sounds fantastical, and anyone can see it. Look, I've written 32 books. I'm a well respected person in the arts and a businessman. I'm not a nut. And I certainly wouldn't believe anything that was taught to me or forced on me. I have had my realizations, which I will keep to myself, which have confirmed to me the reality of what I speak about today. I wouldn't lie to you. I'm 68. I don't want anything. There's nothing I'm trying to go for or be or become or acquire. So I wouldn't lie to you. Yes, I'm on a spiritual path that's a sort of an organized thing, but I am still a person, and I have had my own realizations which absolutely confirm to me, and I don't talk about them because they're personal and they're available to everyone. I'm a plumber's son.
You say that we go through this spirits go through this cyclical sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
Are new spirits ever born, or have they always been around?
Krishna says in the Gita, never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. I would answer that question by saying that the nature and definition of soul is that it must be eternal, beyond time and space. So in that sense, there were, to my understanding, souls that emanate from God and that are eternal. Let me tell you an interesting story about our faith. There's a great high personality, divine personality called Mahavishnu. And he lies on a serpent bed in the causal ocean, the Garbhodakshai ocean, the milk ocean, and Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, rubs his feet. And he's just gently sleeping. When he breathes out, all the universes, not only this one, all the universes emanate from the pores of his skin. How many pores do you have in your body? Innumerable. So innumerable universes and galaxies are manifested when he breathes out. And when he breathes in, they're all destroyed. So that means that everything that's ever happened, ever will happen, is going on between one inhalation and exhalation of the Supreme Being. So that's kind of takes us back to our ant story or our fly story, that, it seems like 68 years. I remember being the 60s and the 50s and the 80s, but really it's just all going on in between one breath of God. Now, how do you describe chocolate ice cream to someone who's never had it? Mm-hmm. Somebody who lives, I don't know, pick your own culture, and they don't have ice cream, and he's there, and you must describe, well, tell me, what is this chocolate? And you have to, it would be almost impossible to give any reasonable explanation. So, but however, if he once takes a small spoon of chocolate ice cream, then all of his inquiries, all of his answers, all of his doubts, all of his ideas that may or may not need defending are solved in the tasting of the chocolate. So I would say the proof of the pudding is in the eating, as the old saying goes. Let me say that the experience of some kind of association with the spiritual emanating force of the universe and all universes blows any questions away. And have I experienced that? Would I lie to you? Here's my answer. Yes, I have. And I understand what chocolate ice cream is because I've tasted it. So to defend anything is sophomoric and juvenile. There's nothing to defend. I would invite anyone, if they're desirous of understanding what chocolate is, to eat some chocolate ice cream. Now you go ahead, Mr. Perez, excuse me.
Yeah. So,
and look, I have to say that Adam looks to me, well, I know that he could be a stand-in for Leonardo DiCaprio.
I've said it already. I said if Leonardo DiCaprio gained 50 pounds and then you beat him up and you toss him down a flight of stairs.
Yeah, roughed him up a little bit. But yeah, he's a good-looking guy, Adam.
He is.
Okay,
I agree there. And plus,
you not so much. Me, not so much. But Adam, good-looking guy.
He's got the accent going on too, so that's you know, he's got a lot of
bonus. Yeah, bonus.
So the Swami, I got a little joke for you. The Swami, that's the priest, right?
It's the highest. It's the highest cleric.
So he goes into a pizza parlor, and he says, "Can you make me one with everything?" That's the punchline. That's the punchline.
But here's the thing. We're not. This is what you speak of now is what's called an impersonalist realization. It's all one. It's all in energy. Everything is energy. You know, it's true that everything is emanating from God, and that His energy is manifesting as everything. But beyond that, make me one with everything. There's a person. Just like we can do a recording today, and we can see that recording on YouTube. But at one time, there were real people who originated this.
Right.
And now there's some sort of residue of this videotape, and you can give innumerable ideas and examples. Examples of the same kind of thing. So the originating source is more than the energy. As we have a body and hand and eyes, Krishna has also. So this is what separates us. And it's a bone of contention in the Hindu faith as well, because some people think it's the great Om, the great invisible, the undivided, without form, without attributes. It's that, but it's also, it's not that they're wrong. It's just that they're not seeing, they kind of got half of the memo. The other half is, but it emanates from a person. You know, I've done many audiobooks. And they're out there online. You can download them, and they represent my voice and my ideas and whatever I've done in that audiobook. But there's no person there anymore. But there was originally a person behind the creation of everything. Your headphones, the lights, the table. There was a person behind that. So one of the great things about our faith is that everything ultimately is very personal, and it comes down to a divine person. Mr. Perez.
Great. And so you believe in Hinduism, believe in practice, or believe in reincarnation. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
So if you've lived a bad life, you can digress or regress, or you could progress in the next life. And then is it possible that everybody at some point, at some stage, is going to achieve like nirvana?
Yes.
Everybody will?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not exactly nirvana, but look, the smallest tributary, the smallest river, they wind their way to the ocean. So there's no one left behind. There's no soul left behind. There's nothing. If you're a serial killer or a pedophile or God knows what kind of horrific,
or a VIP.
A VIP4 in Squid Game, whatever it is, you will have to equal out your activities so that you can incarnate once again and try again. Look, this is not a one-time deal. It's not the Christian idea of you live once and there's heaven or hell, and you blew it. That's it. You got to go to hell forever. No, we are more liberal. We feel that you have as many chances as you need at the speed that you need to understand and become self-realized.
Greg, we got time for one more question, Greg.
Yeah, I just want to talk about, obviously, there's seen lots of things online about people remembering previous lives and things like this. However, most of us, we don't have those memories. Those memories, if you like, they die. Right. So why can we not remember those conscious memories from our previous incarnations?
That's an excellent question. When the soul, which is by its very nature, Sat Chit Ananda, or eternally blissful and full of knowledge, comes in contact with matter, a veil drops and it forgets its elemental nature as coming from God and all the particulars and dramas of their previous lifetimes. I will tell you that around 1954 4 or maybe 5, when I was a little tiny baby in a cradle, a car came around the corner and the headlights came on to the wall for a minute, flashed across the room. And for that moment, this is what I thought. I swear to you, this is true. Oh, I'm in another body. I'm a baby. How did I get here? What's going on? Who are those people over there in the bed? It was my mother and father. And I heard my mother say, I started to cry and I was wet. And I heard my mother say, Joe, get up and give him his teddy bear. And he got up and he leaned over. He had a white t-shirt on, a strapless, what they call a wife beater. And he handed me he said, well, but it's downstairs. Well, go get it. And he went downstairs, clomp, clomp, clomp. And then he came back and he looked over and he put the bear in. And I thought, I swear to God, this is true. I'm a spirit in another body and I've reincarnated again. And as soon as I had that thought, as soon as it manifested, I was a baby again, became illusion, and was thoroughly absorbed in my current incarnation. So for a moment, for whatever reason, I have no idea, the veil was lifted just a crack so that I could have that short memory enough to know that I had reincarnated. But you're absolutely right. That's a true story. I swear. I know crazy. It sounds improbable, but it's true.
No. Actually, I will say this. We're going to wrap up right now, but I'm a Christian and Adam is an atheist, and we sit down, we have conversations with people from all walks of life. But the reason why I don't care to get into debates with people like Adam or people from other religions or whatever is because I can tell you what I've experienced. It's just that thing that you talked about with chocolate. It's like once you sample it, you'll know that there's no way. So it's like, but if someone like Adam hasn't had that experience, I don't know what I would be able to.
Well, look, I'm going to tell you that I'm a pretty intuitive guy, and when I look into Adam's eyes, I see a very intelligent young man, and I wouldn't be so quick to categorize him as an atheist, because I see a lot of inner light in him. I see a lot of spirit in him. I see the manifestation of life is very, very advanced in him. And I think that everybody goes at their own speed. Somebody walked that marathon, somebody crawls, and somebody runs like a deer. Yeah. So everybody's on the same road.
And I got to say, Adam, those are not the eyes that you want to cover under a mask. Adam got these beautiful baby blue eyes. Yeah.
Hey, Adam, do people often say you look like Leonardo DiCaprio?
Oh yeah, right.
They used to. I used to get it when I was about 19. I'm 36 now, but when I was about 19, 20, in the days of the Titanic, it was literally wherever I went. I'm a bit older now and a bit fatter and uglier. So
did anyone think you were Leonardo DiCaprio?
No, I don't think so. I couldn't get paid for it.
Adam just had his 3rd child, so he's obviously got the dad bod. And actually, I think even before Corona, you're significantly thinner, right? Because I saw a picture of you from like a year ago. You're quite thin. But that being said, we do want to thank you for your time. Can you tell us really quickly how we can find you online and your website?
Sure, you can come to geoffreygiuliano.com. We'll put everything at the bottom here. GELFFREY, GIULIANO. There's a contact page there. It has my link tree, which was made by Mr. Perez very kindly, and so many other ways to get in touch with me. You can find me at Instagram at Geoffrey Actor, GEOFFREYACTOR. You can also find me on TikTok, which I don't use much. I'm not really good at dancing around in my bedroom to music. Would that I was better, but alas, I am not. And that's called Squid Game Confidential. But I do want to say that I have this very day released the only memoir of making Squid Game, which is, it's an audiobook and it's available everywhere. Just here's the name. It's called, Surviving Squid Game. I am VIP4. Wow. Geoffrey Giuliano. It's everywhere. You just go put that in and you can download it. And it's an intimate series of secrets and experiences which I went through and had while filming Squid Game. So this is the first and only book on Squid Game. And now let me just say that I'm writing an actual book called Squid Game Confidential, which is coming up. But right now people can grab that. And I wish they would, because it's interesting, my Squid Game audiobook.
Well, what we'll do is we'll give away a few copies of that. You just hashtag Geoffrey Giuliano or hashtag Squid Game or VIP4, and we'll give away maybe 3 copies of that.
Well, you're a man of many plans and schemes, so I'm sure that we'll be speaking about all of these matters, sir.
Sure. So
I hope. Look, I hope I've done justice to my faith. I've never really had a chance to just do a podcast exclusively about that. So I hope I've done well for my spiritual masters and for the audience out there. And I can tell you, I may be a fool, but I am sincere.
Well, I will say this. You actually said a lot of things that really resonated with me as a Christian, because whenever you talked about being in the religion for 50 years and then saying you're still like if you just walked in the first day, I feel like that a lot of times. I know I've progressed a lot inside of Christianity, but I still have those same concepts. So like I still have light years to go, and I feel like
sure.
So
miles to go before we sleep. But you never know. Adam might get there before any of us.
Yeah, you do never know. So
what did Jesus say? Those who are first will be last, and those who are last may be first. So.
And that being said, we want to thank you for joining us today, Geoffrey, and we want to thank you for listening. And you can find us at www.rgpodcast.com. Check us out, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Spotify, just about everywhere you can find someone, like on YouTube, you can find us. And we're having conversations like this. And if you're not subscribed, please do so and leave us a comment about what you thought about this video, because this one is very interesting. That's a really interesting concept. I got to watch it again to let it all soak in. So thank you, and we look forward to seeing you back again. Goodbye.
All right, my brothers.